Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. So, last week we started talking about permutations. Remember, this is when we are making a calculation, order matters. It's extremely important to us. For example, below here you can see this first example. It says 12 athletes run the mile, okay? And it says how many different ways can they finish first, second, and third. Now, some of you might not care, but in the typical race, getting first place is much better than getting second or third. Okay, you want to be in first place. If order matters to you, if you care about your place, then we have to use the permutation formula. Okay, so right here is the version of it. However, as you'll recall, we don't have to solve that by hand. Instead, we can go to our calculator. If you have the scientific one, that's great. If not, go to web2.0calc.com. Now, remember we said there are 12 athletes running this race, and we want to know how many ways the top three can finish. Okay, so we're going to think of that as 12 choose 3. Now, it's a permutation, so P for permutation. So we'll start with 12, then hit NPR for permutation. 12 choose 3. Okay, we can close the parentheses, hit equal, and wow, that's a lot of different ways our top three can be configured. Okay, 1,320 different ways to be exact. Okay, so let me get my pen again. There's 1,320 different ways. Okay, now sometimes order does not matter. So what I mean by that is if we scroll down here to the next problem, it says the number of combinations. This combination is when order does not matter. Okay, it's the same whether you're first, second, third. Okay, all three of those are the same. So an example says 12 athletes run the mile. So same exact scenario as we had before, except here it says the top 3 qualify for the Olympics. How many different ways can they qualify? So obviously it's still an honor to win first place, but how many different ways can they qualify? If you finish first, second, or third, the same thing happens. Okay, it doesn't matter to you whether you finish first, second, or third. Okay, as long as you get in that top 3, you qualify for the Olympics. So if we look at the two differences between these formulas, as you can see here, permutations and combinations, they're very similar, except you might notice on combinations there's another element here, r factorial. Whatever the number is we're choosing, you're going to divide by that. And if we make the denominator bigger and divide, then when we solve, we'll get a smaller number as our answer. This makes sense to us, hopefully, because if it says how many ways can the top 3 qualify, I don't care if runner A gets first, second, or third, as long as they get in that top 3, they qualify. Okay, so we can mix around the top 3 and still have the same results. So hopefully it makes sense to you that there's going to be less different ways that we can have, or less different results, because either you qualify or you don't. Okay, so now, same situation, except instead of 12 choose 3 with the permutations, we're going to want to use our C. Okay, so it's C of 12 comma 3. So change over to the calculator and let's clear it. Oh, let me switch back to my pen. Okay, so we do 12, and then instead of the P for permutations, order does not matter, so combinations, C, so 12, and there's 3, close it. As you can see, that extra 3 got added down there, 3 factorial, and 220, okay, which, as we predicted, is less than 1320. Okay, so 220 is our answer here. Now, if you're still not understanding the difference between a permutation and a combination, we look down here at the last example. It says, the Burger Palace is famous for its 20 topping options. You want a burger with exactly 5 toppings. How many burger options do you have? Okay, so you're going to get exactly 5 toppings on it. Okay, so I don't know what all their options are. Maybe they bacon, different types of cheeses, lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion. Okay, you can decide what your 5 toppings are, but you've decided you want 5 toppings on. Now, when you're making a burger, I don't know. Some of you might be particular, but for the most part, you don't care. If there's lettuce and then tomato, or tomato then lettuce, it's going to taste the same. It does not matter the order in which they're placed on the sandwich. All that matters is, does my burger have lettuce? Does my burger have tomato? And if it has both of those, then it'll taste the same whether the tomato is on top or the tomato is on the bottom. Okay, so for this situation, we're not going to worry about the order. Now, the one time where order might matter is if you're eating a burger with the cheese inside of it. Has anyone ever had, I think it's called a Juicy Lucy, made famous up in Minnesota? One time I was up there and had one. The cheese is stuffed inside the burger, so when they cook it, it gets nice and melted. So that is one time when maybe the order matters. But I'm getting sidetracked. So if we think about it, it's Burger Palace. Famous for 20 different toppings, and we need exactly 5. Okay, so order, we're going to say does not matter because either it's on the burger or it's not. So for this, we're going to use C. Okay, it's a combination. And we know there are 20 choices, but we are only putting 5 on. Okay, so we need to do a combination of 20, choose 5. So at this point, we'll switch to our calculator. We'll clear it, and we'll do 20 NCR for combinations. Remember, choose 5, close your parenthesis, hit equals, and we get 15,504 different burger combinations. Okay, so wow, a lot of different ways we could choose a burger here. It's up to you what you decide. Okay, so today the assignment's very short. There's only 3 problems. You're going to be using the combination. So if you choose to, you could use this formula right here. Find what n factorial is, and then n minus r factorial times r factorial for the denominator. That is fine if you want to do it by hand. An easier way, though, is either go to web2.0calc.com or use your scientific calculator or your phone. Remember, you'll have to turn it on its side to get this to work. Okay, but then use your combination button right here, NCR. So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you guys have a great day.